Hello everyone. I've gotten quite a few requests to make a driving video on my Tahoe. So, now that I am officially on Christmas break, I thought that now would be the perfect time to do it. So, let's go ahead and take a ride. Now, first thing I'll talk about is closing the garage door. Now, second thing I'll talk about is ride comfort in this car. Given that this car has a live or solid rear axle, it has kind of an unsettled ride at times, but most of the time, driving this car is absolutely effortless. The suspension is pretty softly sprung, but it's not like floaty. I mean, it can be once you get up to higher speeds, like highway 75 to 80, but it's not incredibly floaty around town. Like, I know some cars, like old GM Cadillacs and stuff like that, they used to be like, you'd close the door and they'd still be rocking by the time you got back in it. So, yeah. Now the suspension in this one, of course, is live rear axle and double wishbone independent front suspension. So, handling really isn't too bad, especially for an SUV. I mean, comparing it to like the Jag, of course, this is definitely a land yacht, but for an SUV of this size, like a full-size SUV, it's really not bad at all. I have absolutely no complaints. It's pretty fun to drive, I guess, in a different way than the Jag is fun to drive. It's more like of a macho sense you get when driving this car than like a sleek and sporty and fast sense you get when driving the Jag. The power on this car, well, there's not really much. 0 to 60 is about 10 seconds. I timed it not too terribly long ago, and that's about what it was, right at like 10.2, something like that, I think it was. So it's pretty slow, and the engine, the sad thing is, the engine has a lot of power, but GM chose to use a very antiquated 4-speed automatic that is obnoxious. That really cut the power this engine has down. It's just... like... that was pretty much floored right there, and we're doing 50. So, it makes a lot of racket, but goes nowhere fast. Steering in this is very communicative, but it's not responsive at all. I mean, it's responsive enough. Like I said, it's a full-size SUV, but it gives the driver a lot of feedback as to what's going on the road. It's very good about that. That's one thing I really like about this SUV in particular, is that the steering gives great feedback to the driver. It doesn't inspire a lot of confidence, but it gives great feedback. And of course, you can see we're doing 55 miles an hour, and now we're doing 50 because the speed limit dropped. It's pretty quiet. I mean, it's not like Mercedes-Benz Vault quiet, but for a big boxy SUV, it's not bad. When the road noise really gets kind of intrusive is on the highway. Road and wind noise are pretty loud when you get up to 75 to 80 miles an hour. That's one of the complaints I have. And of course you can, I don't know if you can see the screen or not, but the fuel economy is at 12.1 miles per gallon, and I've really been babying this car since I've been on a much tighter gas budget than I was before, and 12.1 is really all I can get out of it, and that's about the same I got out of it when I drove it a little harder than I used to, or a little harder than I do now, I suppose. Somebody lost some clothes on the side of the road. But that's, you know, it's a 4-speed automatic and a 5.3 liter torque monster V8. But I feel like GM could have done a little bit better. That is the main reason I want to get rid of this car, is because just the gas mileage is horrible. On the highway, I'll get 18.5 or so, if I'm lucky. Maybe if I have the air conditioning off, I can get 19, but down in Texas, where it's 80 degrees during December, that's pretty hard to do. Just go without the air conditioning off. Now, with the exhaust on it, of course, that is a little louder, and I really do enjoy the sound of the exhaust. When you're carrying passengers, the people who ride in the back say the cabin drone is pretty bad, but from where I'm sitting in the driver's seat, I really don't notice it. I don't find it that bad. Now, when you are going around a corner, surprisingly, body roll is kept to a minimum. This car stays pretty flat in the corners. I mean, this is all speaking compared to other SUVs. It's not like a roly-poly. It can hold its own in a corner for an SUV. Of course, you can't even compare it to something like an Infiniti G25 or Audi A4 or whatever, but it's not bad at all. This car, I don't really understand why, but it puts a smile on my face to drive. It's just a nice car to drive, and the seats in this car are best seats I've ever sat in, like top notch. GM did an absolutely wonderful job. I do not understand why they ever redesigned their seats, because these were by far the best. There's no question about that. But I really miss these seats in the new GM cars. You can hear a little bit of the exhaust there, probably. The radio in this car is absolutely incredible. Of course, it comes with the Bose system. I think that's part of the, I don't know what package this is. I just know it's the Z71 appearance, and the radio's absolutely amazing. I love it. It has a very nice bass response, very clear and crisp sounds. You don't get a lot of high-pitched squeal and all that nastiness. This is just a very nice car. Only complaints are fuel economy and interior build quality. Like that's kind of unnerving, like when you knock on a dashboard and you hear that it sounds like a tin can. Another thing about this one, I guess it's just this one, I don't know if it's a common problem, I haven't done much reading, but when it's cold outside, the front end will kind of creak a little bit. I guess it's just a combination of the joints and shocks, I don't know. But anyways, we are back home now, and I hope you guys have enjoyed, and I'll definitely be sure to make one on the truck soon, whenever I get an opportunity to drive that. So anyways, thanks for watching, and I hope you guys have enjoyed.